Hello and welcome. Welcome, Internet experts. Welcome to Roland, Todd, and Jason already here, and glad to have you guys here. Merry Christmas. We're almost there. Maybe you're watching this and wrapping presents. And to be quite honest, this year's been a little tough for me to get into the spirit. And then something hit me earlier this week that just put me in a much better frame of reference, frame of mind for the Christmas season, and I wanted to share that with you. So that's kind of where the weird thumbnail comes in. I know champagne's kind of the New Year's thing, but I have a fun idea for next week too. So just wanted to start out saying that thank you to everyone who's liked, shared, subscribed, all that stuff. This year and previously. For some reason, subscribers are ticking up. I'm all for it, so that's great. I think the current count is 991. So we're getting there, almost to 1,000, which still is a mind-boggling number of people who would want to watch my content. So I'm really appreciative to everyone, and especially those of you who join in on the live streams and add to the chat and your expertise, because I'm not necessarily an expert, but when we put our heads together, we all generally come up with some pretty good ideas. So thank you very much for joining, participating, all that stuff. And in the theme of participating, I was thinking of doing this for this week, but it was a lot to wrangle. This week's been a little nuts, as I'm sure it has for most people, but and my daughter decided to get sick before her last day of school today, so that just turned all the Christmas preparations right on their head. So she's fine. It was just a one-time thing this morning, and but it got her home all day from school, so that's good. Just didn't get the last-minute shopping kind of things done like I expected, but that's the way things go. But, 9 more for 1,000. So hopefully my goal was to get 1,000 by the end of the year. Looks like we're close. For a while it seemed to just stall out and not move forever. So I'm glad things are perking up a little bit. Maybe the content's gotten better. Could be. And I'm hoping to bring you guys all a lot more fun stuff next year, with the road trips and all sorts of stuff, more interviews and things too. So a lot of fun stuff to come in the new year. And I guess this is as good a time as any, because people don't always watch all the way through, which I totally understand. But next week, if you would like to join, I did kind of a deep dive into the Zoom capabilities I have and the live stream capabilities I have. And I don't think, at the tiers I'm at and comfortable paying for at this point, I don't think I can invite people onto the live stream live. So what I'd like to do is, if people want to join next week, we'll do a Zoom meeting, and then I'll publish that afterward. So we'll still do the live stream at the same time, and you can either message me on Facebook, for those of you who are connected with me through there, or find me on Twitter and send me a message there with your email, and I can send you the link for a Zoom meeting. And my Twitter handle is @Brian_Reby. So this isn't a play for more followers or anything. It's just the easiest way I could think of to get more people involved. So if you guys want to join next week, we'll have kind of a live hangout, even if we don't all know each other in person. Hi, John. Welcome. Even if we don't all know each other in person, we know each other from the live stream and the chat section here. So it would be fun to hang out if you guys want to. So send me an email address or somewhere where I can send the Zoom link for next week, and I will get that to you. And then next week we'll have kind of a pre-New Year's party, talk about our favorite EVs for the year, or whatever you guys want to talk about. Ask questions of each other, heckle each other, make fun of me, whatever. It'll be just kind of a hangout party atmosphere. So if people are interested in that, like I said, get a hold of me. Those of you I know through Facebook know how to get a hold of me there. And then on Twitter, it's Brian_Reby. So I think that could be a fun time if people are looking for a different way, a little different way we can do some interaction. And then, like I said, after that is I'll record that Zoom meeting and then publish it on the channel afterwards. So by doing that, you're agreeing to be video recorded. So get that disclaimer right out there right now. So don't say anything too lewd. I think if we have any surgeries on the live stream, we're going to have to cut that out. But hopefully, it'll be a fun thing for next week, as we close out the year. So the thing that got me really excited this week was, that you always hear so much about the toxic Tesla fans and the fanboys and the kind of Tesla bros, kind of garbage. And most owners aren't like that. And we all kind of know that. Most of us are like just pro EVs in general. We happen to have our preferences, and that's great. Not everybody's going to like every car, and that's totally cool. But I was listening to the Living Electric podcast, which is, they also publish it to YouTube, and that's where I was watching it. It's Alex and Brandon host this podcast. It's called Living Electric Podcast. And a lot of it is EV 101 kind of stuff, which is helpful. And they interview some people, but also just kind of talk about what it's like living with an EV, switching to an EV, taking road trips, all that kind of stuff. Kind of basic, but kind of, just a good other perspective to have out there. And I generally really enjoy it and think they do a pretty good job. They generally stay far more to a topic than I do, so that's good. And you can also podcast it, which maybe in the next year I'll have this as a podcast option. We'll look at that. Some people have suggested that. But then you wouldn't get all these fantastic visuals. Hey, look, I wrapped a package in the background. Christmas, right? So anyway, I was listening to that, and they had Miss Go Electric, Lacey, on the podcast, and they were interviewing her. And they had met at Kyle Connor's Out of Spec Motoring EV Summit. I think it was called the EV Summit. And it's where Brendan and Kaylee were, and a whole bunch of people met in LA, looked at a bunch of EVs, but also met these other YouTubers. And so Lacey, Miss Go Electric, was on the Living Electric podcast on Monday morning. And she was talking a little bit about what she drives, EV advocacy and stuff like that. And her Charge Across America TV show, it was a 10-day challenge that aired on NBC Sports last night. And the idea was, I think there were 4 teams. And they were in a Mach-E. There were 2 Taycans, I believe, a Polestar, and then an Audi e-tron got brought into it. So she was kind of talking through, what the challenges were of the trip and everything, because they kind of set it up as reality show kind of stuff where you had rules for each day. And different challenges and things, and you could either try to get to the destination first, or you could do these little side quest adventure things. So she was talking about that, and as she was talking about how great the Mach-E performed, and everybody was really excited about this, and the TV show and all that, which I'll talk more about a little bit later. But it just kind of hit me as Lacey was talking about how she drives a Model S, and I know Alex from the podcast drives a Model 3, I believe. And I think Brandon on that show used to work for Tesla. And so here are all these people deep in the weeds on Tesla. They own Teslas, and here they're talking about the merits of the Mach-E, or some of the other vehicles. Brandon and his spouse own a ID4, I believe, and maybe a Bolt still. I can't remember what they own, but so anyway, here are these Tesla owners, Tesla fans, talking about the merits of other EVs, talking about road tripping on other EVs, and it was just really positive. And we don't hear positive EV Tesla owners very often. And it got me thinking about how I got into EVs and Tesla, and it was from my friend Bill, who even though he was in town for his father's funeral, he was, a new Tesla owner, so excited to talk about the car too, even in that kind of odd situation. And so he's the one who gave me my first test drive in a Model 3. Totally hooked immediately on the first test drive, butts and seats and everything. And as we were talking, throughout the summer of 2018, from when I took that test drive in the spring to when we bought our Model S, I was kind of going over the finances and like, I really want to get a Model 3 or a used S, but I don't know if we can make the finances work. We might have to get, like a Nissan Leaf or something, because they were pretty inexpensive at the time. And part of me is like, Bill's going to, when I tell him, we might have to do this, he's going to be like, no, you got to get a Tesla. You said you were going to get a Tesla. And he was like, yeah, Nissan Leaf's a great car. It doesn't have the range, doesn't have this or that, but, you're going to an EV, and that's great. So, do whatever you can. And so, this podcast kind of reminded me of his positive attitude toward, just go electric, man. ID4 and electric Cooper. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember quite. Thank you, Jason. But it was, just that positive, here's a Tesla owner, they think Tesla is the best, or the best choice for them, saying, hey, get what you can, do what you can. The point is to go electric and all that. And so that was really encouraging. And then, yeah, okay. And obviously, I try to do that same kind of thing on this channel. Obviously, I love my Tesla, but I'll feature other vehicles. I love to test drive the different ones and see what's out there. And, hopefully people find the right vehicle for them. And so then yesterday, this television show aired, the Charge Across America, aired on NBC Sports. Right now, I think that's the only place you can see it. I think it was on YouTube TV, but I don't know if it's one of those. I didn't actually watch the program. I was watching her live stream, which she kept up, so people were kind of live commenting on how the show went. So they cut this 10-day, 4-team Route Across America challenge down to a 1-hour show. And some of the producers, I think, from the production company were on the live stream last night and talking about how, like, yeah, they had to cut so much out and they have enough for, several episodes. And so they're trying to shop it around to streaming service or somewhere where they can, use all this footage they have, with some pretty good drama. And, show more of the experience, more of the teams and stuff like that. So somebody described the NBC airing as like, this is a good trailer for what a series could be. So that was cool. And she and Ryan from Lacey from Misco Electric and Ryan from the Kilowatts were a team driving Ryan's Ford Mustang Mach-E that they Turo out, or did. He's now sold it. That's a different story for a different time. But he also, their company that does this touring thing, they own several Teslas. Now they only own Teslas because they did sell the Mach-E, but same kind of thing. They're talking about how great the Mach-E was to road trip in, how much fun they had, their strategy. And so again, a couple Tesla people saying, hey, Mach-E's great. You can road trip in it. You can do all these things. And, that was really, really positive. How the show came across, I'm not entirely sure. And I don't know. Yeah, Jason says, bring on the EV competition. Exactly. Yeah, the more the better. And for those of us that love Tesla, that means Tesla's got to step up. We might be seeing that with the Cybertruck a little bit now, getting kind of their version of the crab walk. It sounds like that might happen. So maybe they'll add vehicle to grid on the Cybertruck too. Who knows? Because the Lightning's getting a lot of a lot of publicity about that. So yeah, competition just is going to make them better, and hopefully, it just kind of has a rubber band effect of one company does something and the next company answers it, they answer it, and the whole time batteries and EVs hopefully are getting cheaper and cheaper too. So more and more people can afford them. But so the big question on the Charge Across America, and I'll just tell you what I know a little bit about the rules, is they couldn't charge, like they had to punch in the morning and punch out at night. So they couldn't charge overnight at hotels, which a lot of people would do on a road trip. They also... There's another rule thing that was a little weird. But they also had to choose to do these side quests or whatever and route, how much charging they'd need each day. And then they were dealing with mostly the Electrify America network. And I think Electrify America may have been a sponsor for the show. And to hear people in the comments going, ooh, this makes EA look really bad. Because they ran into broken chargers or blocked chargers or chargers that needed a reset, or teams would have to move multiple stalls to get something to work. So hopefully, the good side of that is hopefully if Electrify America was embarrassed enough, then that means they'll make some improvements quickly. But obviously the negative to that is for people who don't use an EV every day, it looks like you always have to charge these things and the chargers are always broken. And obviously there wasn't a Tesla in the group, probably because it was sponsored by Electrify America. Who knows what the other sponsors or whatever are, but Tesla was probably not even mentioned. Like I said, I didn't actually watch the show. I just watched the comments going. But, obviously a lot of people were like, well, in a Tesla, you would just use the supercharger network and just go and not worry about it. But, they're trying to advocate for EVs. The question is, does this make it seem scarier, when there's drama and you don't, the show isn't long enough to show their strategy? Because that's something they were talking about last night on Misco Electric's live stream. Is she was talking a little bit about, how she and Ryan had their strategy of jumping between chargers, stuff longtime EV owners would do. But the other teams weren't necessarily as savvy about that. And so their team ended up winning, which is great. But hopefully all the footage goes into a longer series type of thing where people can get a better sense of, what driving an EV is like and why maybe some of these rules, like no charging overnight, made it harder. It did kind of gamify things because they were saying, well, like if you won one day, you probably wouldn't win the next day because you had to start your day charging because you got to the hotel or whatever, the check-in point, at a low state of charge to win the day. But that meant in the morning you'd have to charge on a cold battery. So, for people who know all that stuff, it was probably a really fun, strategy exercise. But yeah, I just don't know how it would be for people unfamiliar with EVs. Would it just seem too stressful and too much drama? But some of the contestants were already talking about when they were going to buy their EV. They were also on her live stream afterward. So that was cool, and it might be one of those situations where any publicity is good publicity. Just gets more conversation started. And, maybe somebody who's skeptical watched that and said, boy, it looks like a lot of hassle. And they talk to their friend who owns a Mach-E or a Taycan or something, and they're like, oh, no, it's no problem at all. You charge overnight, and that's, easy peasy. So I just said easy peasy. I apologize. Anyway, hopefully it got good reactions. Hopefully it starts some good conversations. Again, over the holidays, as people are traveling, more stories get told about how easy it is to live with an EV. I just wanted to shout out a couple other people who, obviously are good EV ambassadors that where it almost seems like they don't like Tesla, but they've owned or do own Teslas and do like them. But they're so positive on other cars, it can kind of come off across sometimes like, man, you sure don't like Tesla. And it's like, oh, that's what they drive. Kyle Connor's one of those guys. They just did a road trip to Salt Lake City from where they live in Colorado, and they drove the Tesla because there's no CCS network. They'd have to do a huge loop to get to Salt Lake City from where they live. So they took their Tesla Model 3, and he's like, yeah, I never talk about this thing, and it's kind of old, but it's great. It served us well. Teslas are great. Tesla, the supercharger network's fantastic, and so on somebody who's always usually trumpeting other cars, showcasing like, oh, this is, where Tesla shines, was kind of cool. I also saw that this week. It was, I am blanking on her name, but Kyle's girlfriend was doing a like a dog rescue kind of thing where they were taking a I don't know dogs very well, but a big breed dog and delivering it to its new home. And so that was the road trip they were on, going to Salt Lake City. Alyssa. Sorry about that. I was completely blanking on her name. Um, but yeah, so Alyssa was kind of taking the lead on this one, and um, this is something I think they're going to do more of. I think it was on Out of Spec Motoring or Out of Spec Reviews. I can't quite remember which one it was. I would think Motoring. It was just a fun road trip, there one day, back the next. But just, a good Tesla road trip with a big dog. And so that was, again, really positive. Brandon and Kaylee, EV Nomads, love their ID4 now, and that's great. But, they were driving old Teslas for a while, talking about how great the supercharger network is and everything. Tom Malogny, he's doing all sorts of Lucid videos lately, as everybody knows. Or at least he did the one, and then seems to be kind of on that theme. He did but he was doing a charging session, I think over the weekend, with his Model 3 using a CHAdeMO adapter to show that even Teslas do have charging losses, just kind of beating that horse into the ground. But he's always, talking about new vehicles coming out and advocating for, more EVs, different brands. But there again, it's another Tesla owner who's got, a pretty big audience, and they're promoting other EVs. So the trope, the trope is the toxic Tesla fanboy. Nothing's ever good but Tesla. And, it started with that podcast on Monday morning. And then a lot of other stuff I've seen this week has just kind of reinforced that there are a lot of great Tesla owners who are advocating not only for Tesla, but for other EVs. And obviously other EVs owners are doing that too. But there's a right vehicle for everyone. The interview I did with Joe, which a lot of people are watching, so there is a lot of interest in the Mustang Mach-E, which is great. He and I were talking, the Mach-E is the right choice for him. The Model Y is the right choice for me. Excuse me. Brandon and Kaylee, the ID4 is the right choice for them. Brandon and Kaylee, they always talk about the massaging seats in the ID4, which they love and want to have on all the time. I absolutely hate massaging things, even people. And when stuff like that touches my back, it just drives me crazy. So having a car that doesn't have that is perfect for me. But everybody's got different tastes. Everybody's got weird quirks like that. We were taking my daughter to a chiropractor and doing some stuff there. And he's like, well, do you want to be evaluated and, might help you with this or that? I'm like, no, I just can't stand people touching me. And he's like, well, don't you think it would help? I'm like, maybe. I'd rather just work out alone more and get in better shape that way, or, feel better that way. It just stands the hair up on the back of my neck. I cannot stand it. But to each their own. And, like Jason was saying earlier, more competition is the better, more choice. For weirdo customers like me, the more choices, the better. So people being able to find the right vehicle for them. Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to say was, and I guess I'll just kind of tag this in there, is a year or so ago, I did an interview with my friends GJ and Lisa, who had a BMW i3, still have their BMW i3, but they have an ID4 all-wheel drive coming, and apparently today it just got in the country, so they don't know when they're going to get delivery of it. But they were all excited, kind of wondering like, hey, does anybody know when we'll actually get it now that it's in the country? Hopefully they get it soon. I'd love to do a follow-up interview with them about, the long term with their i3, and then, making that switch to the ID4. I think that could be a fun interview. So I'm going to catch up in the chat, and then I got a little bit more. I might have to change batteries here in a second. So let's take a quick pause. I'm just going to run the intro so you don't have to see the screen go blank. But I will be coming back in 30 seconds or so, if I can remember to change this. So I'll be right back, grab a drink or something, and I'll see you in half a minute. And we're back. All right, sorry about that. I have one battery that lasts a really nice long time, and a couple batteries that do not. So needed to switch to the long run battery, but still trying to sort out this new camera. I haven't had a lot of time to play with it yet. So let's catch up on the comments. Sandy Monroe Engineering, but Tesla fan as a funny, crabby engineer. Yes, definitely. Yes, it's Alyssa, and it may have been a Mastiff. I did not have dogs growing up, so my knowledge of breeds and things is like, it's a dog. That's about it. Maybe someday we'll get one again, but we'll see. My daughter would love it. My wife would love it. But we'll see. Someday, maybe. Yeah, so true about Sandy. No Mercedes Stones massaging seats for Brian. No. None of that kind of stuff. It looks like we got some nice spam in there. Every time I get in the 62 crosstown, people want to race with me. Do you do it, John? Especially the Audis and BMWs? Yeah. Well, you've got the performance, so you can handle it. Jason gets the looks in his plaid, but no one wants to race anymore. Yeah. Are you able to put the pedal down yet, Jason, or is the leg still a little tender? Yeah, they never catch up to me. Get a Shiba. Yeah. Make Dogecoin memes or Floki coin memes. If I knew anything about cryptocurrencies, maybe I would do that. But yeah, I don't know. I always envisioned if I got a dog, I'd get like a bloodhound that would just like lay around while I played harmonica or something. I don't know. That's my my dream dog situation, I guess. I don't know. That might be weird. But I've got simple desires, I guess. I was going to ask if, as we're coming toward the end of the year, And I guess I can show you guys this. Like I was saying earlier, I do really appreciate everyone, participating, joining, and subscribing, and all that jazz. I really don't like talking about it generally because, it's cool, but it's also kind of intimidating. And when you think about that many people that have subscribed, it's very cool. So thank you. But I also have, I've got a weird little, what is that doing up there? Huh. I've got like an extra screen of me up on my second screen. You guys can't see that. But I just wanted to show you something I got from, nope, here we are, from YouTube. And this is, a little summary they give you at the end of the year. So a bunch of watch minutes and likes and things like that. And most of the viewers are from US, Canada. And, they say, hey, thank everybody. And I'm, of course, not doing a separate post for that. I'm going to just run that back of and pause here. Maybe. When I edit these things together, I think, well, I'm not going to talk about this for more than like a second, so just run through it. And then as I'm showing it, I'm like, oh, I didn't even talk about the last thing. So just some fun, lifetime stats. The funny thing is about this, my most watched video in 2021 was the Cybertruck in the Midwest video, which I shot in, I think, maybe it was 2019. When was the Cybertruck announced? But it was I shot it the Thanksgiving, like a few days after the reveal. And that video still, like, people are still watching it, which is fantastic. It's great that people are interested in it. I just find it odd that a video that old is still like my best one, views-wise. But it's the one with a bunch of truck drivers sitting around talking about, EV trucks. And I keep meaning to revisit that when everybody's, when the actual trucks start hitting the road. I know Rivian's out, but we're still kind of waiting for all the rest of them. So next year I want to revisit that one and do kind of a round table, maybe with a few groups of truck drivers, and talk to them about what they like, what they don't like about the different EV trucks on the market. But I also thought this might be kind of fun. I just did a spreadsheet because I was curious how many hours of like videos, like if you were to watch everything back to back, how many hours would that be? And so I'll just play that. And so this is going backward in time through this year. I didn't go further back than January here, but supercharger reviews, obviously some interviews, the supercharger roundup. Thank you for everybody who participated in that. Testing Electrify America with John. Thank you. And then Rochester Farmers Market. That was another great fun time with a bunch of people. Model Y Mountain Adventure Road Trip and the pop tires and the chipped windshields and all of that. It's hard to believe it was like 6 months ago already when we did that. This year just really flew by. Hanging out with a 5 count in the spring. That was fun. And then, getting the Model Y and all the excitement around that. And, it was kind of cool. Going out to check the windmills in Minnesota, wind turbines, after they had the issues in Texas. Then, other superchargers and doing some range tests and things like that. So this year total, I'll go back here and pause. Of the published videos, it was 22.76 hours of content for just the published videos. And then we'll go over to all of them, including the live streams that people have watched. So total, everything combined is basically 72 hours of content we put out on the channel. So thank you to everyone who helped with that. And I did that. Okay. And let me get to the right screen here. So thank you to everyone who helped out with different videos or was at meetups and stuff. And, Todd and I last spring, when it was really cold and windy, we're out testing Tesla Smart Summon. We might have to test that again once they actually do something with it to enhance it. But, I just really appreciate everyone's help and support. And like I said, if people weren't here earlier, next week I'd like to do a Zoom meeting at this same time at 9:30 Central with people who want to join. So if you want to get a hold of me on Facebook or on Twitter at Brian_Reby, and give me a way to get a hold of you so that I can send you the Zoom link. I don't want to put it in here because you can see there's, sometimes spam people, or I don't want it just out in the world and we get a bunch of, problems on the Zoom call. So, but I think that would be a fun hangout for next week. So if people want to do that, again, let me know on those platforms and I'll set something up. And then that will be published on the channel also. So months away from driving. Oh, that's too bad. Not to make your other Achilles tour. Oh man. Holy cow. Yeah, Todd's got the right reaction there. That is terrible. I'm so sorry. Are you just kind of like laying with your feet in the air? Like, I can't even imagine. I'm so sorry. I don't remember. Wow. I don't know. I'm wondering if it was like something about like overcompensating with the good leg to help with the bad leg, hurt the good leg or something. But well, I hope you're on the mend now, and hopefully hopefully your pain's under control, if nothing else, because that is. I feel awful for you. It's just been one thing after another. I'm sure you'll be very happy to get to 2022 and hopefully have a reset. Tesla rewarding timely holiday travelers with free supercharging for drivers on certain route and paths. Get free power starting December 23rd through 26th. Yeah, definitely. Looks like on the coasts and a couple places in the south, maybe. I should have pulled that map up for the live stream, but yeah, they're offering free supercharging for off-peak hours. So if you can get there, I think basically overnight, I think it's something like between 10 p.m. and 7:30 a.m. or something like that. Check Tesla's website, or if you're if you're in those areas, you may have gotten an email. But yeah, they're offering free supercharging on the off-peak hours. So if you're traveling at those times, take advantage of that. Just trying to share the load as everybody's traveling. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be traveling this year. We had, like I said, my daughter woke up and got sick right as we were getting dressed for school this morning. She's fine. It's just a one-off thing. But my wife also wasn't feeling so great, so she just got a COVID test, and that came back negative. So hopefully our plans are intact, but we aren't going too far. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be driving. Yeah, Todd, we need to do that update video. We'll see how. Maybe we'll wait till it's a little warmer. Maybe March or something. Do a year later recap of it. Although the day we picked was so cold and windy. It must have been late March, because we didn't get the car till March 15th or something. Oh, I'm glad it's not very painful. 1 month recovering on the one leg, but your wife still gives you rides in the Tesla. I'll still try to show up to events. Well, that would be great. It would be great to see you, and your car too. But yeah, I hope you can get out to stuff and it's not too difficult. Yeah, your wife shoveling the driveway too. You did get a sweet deal on that side, on that part of it. So that's one positive, I guess. Although I'm sure your wife doesn't feel that way. So as we're kind of coming to the end of the year, I wanted to get your opinions. Like I said, I did this big list of the videos I did this year. And I was just kind of thinking about what is the channel focus and what should the channel focus be, going into 2022. And so I would love to get input from you guys. I was going to try to set up a poll, and for some reason it's not. Oh wait, I cannot. Okay, I couldn't on my live stream software, but it looks like I might be able to on. Yeah, so I could have done it on YouTube. I didn't see that. Okay, and now I just hit the chat. So where did you go? I'm really tech savvy, guys. I don't mean to just tout that all the time and show my experience and expertise, but there you go. I'm not going to take the time to type out a whole thing, but just of the general types of videos that I do, I'm curious what you guys think is the best stuff or the stuff you're most interested in. Road trips with stats and scenery and all that kind of stuff would be option 1. Interviews of other EV owners, which I do want to do more of those. Daily life with an EV, just kind of the some of the Model Y basics, some of the how to charge at home, how to charge superchargers, or some of how do EVs work. I know you guys are all deep in the EV world, but do you think there are so many of those videos that they aren't helpful anymore, or is throwing some in every now and again worthwhile? And then the other thing would be focus more on meetups with the different groups, or EV event coverage, the Rochester farmers market thing, or when the supercharger opened up, the event we did, and then the event they held up in at Black Bear Casino. I guess, what do you guys like to see, and what would you like to see more of is my question. Because obviously, I want to produce more of what people want to watch. Maybe some Tesla 101s for newbies. Yeah, the screen record video I did, it was just a complete walkthrough. It was an hour and 20 minutes or something of the walkthrough of the center screen. That video didn't do real well at first, but it's continued to do well. Someone was asking on Twitter, like, what do I need to know? I just got a Tesla. What do I need to know? And I'm like, not trying to be spammy or, just, shoving stuff at people. But I just was like, well, if you got a 3 or a Y, this might be helpful. And, more people started finding it from that as well. So I think there is some value to that. But I did have the best YouTube comment in the world on that this is the most boring video in the world, but the information's good. They said it funnier than that. I can't remember the real quote, but it was both very true and damning and hilarious and affirming at the same time. So I really appreciated that. Event drives, etc. Keep doing the same variety. John wants to see me eat a taco in a Tesla. I could do a Taco Tuesday. Why not? That's a thing. Road trips. Yes, on a Tuesday. Yeah. How about... How about a car camera setup for a YouTube friend? Sure, I could show you how I do that. I don't know that I have the best setup, but it does seem to work all right. When the GoPros work, when the GoPros don't crash, it works great. How to drive a Tesla on a frozen lake? I could do that one. It's getting pretty... The ice has got to be getting thick up north, if it's not down here already. How about doing a bunch of mods on your Tesla? I could. The Tesla accessories video did pretty well. But it's there's a limit on how much I want to spend on the car, and I don't really care too much for some of the flashier stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. But it's something, if I can think of more to do to it. I was thinking of doing a cost breakdown of like everything we've spent on the car. From purchase to like now, or roughly a year later. But I kind of feel like, would that be a jerk thing to do, since the car's base price is so much more expensive than when we bought it, or when I reserved it and we got the reserved price. So I don't know. I'm kind of struggling with that, and then how much we want to share financial things. But hey Glenn, welcome. V11 UI update after it drops. That's a good idea. Yeah, maybe refreshing that. Well, it sounds like version 8, if that comes out. I know John's patiently waiting for the holiday update, and it sounds like version 8 or 10.8 of the FSD build should be tomorrow night. We'll see. Unless they find bugs or something, but we should have... Ooh, it would be good to do a Plaid UI demo. That would be great, Jason. I'd love to do that. Yeah, John, a lot of the accessories are garbage. I know Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy, just had a a new like phone mount for behind his wheel. That he liked pretty well. Had some pros and cons on it, but he did an install video of that a couple days ago. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know that I've gotten so used to not having any screen in front of me. I don't know that I would do that, and I don't use my phone for a lot of other stuff other than like audio. But it was a cool accessory and good time for Christmas. People are looking for ideas for gifts, so that was cool. Yes, Jason, we'll get that update in 2 weeks. But yeah, so we should see some UI changes there. But it would be cool to do one in the Plaid and show kind of what the back screen does and what it's going to do, what it does now. Because I think some stuff is still coming. Actually, I thought the first wave, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, of the new sound deadening, there was like an update where they're going to use the sound system to help deaden the sound or to cancel out the road noise. I thought I heard someone say that rolled out to some Plaids, but I don't know if everybody's got that yet or not. I would love to go to the Giga Austin opening. Love, 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 love. Yes, Minnesota Austin Giga opening. That would be super, super cool. Hey, Tony, welcome. Elon posted that about the Giga opening event, and just as I'm publishing the video of, or right after I published the video about our trip planning to go to Florida, which we might actually get to see a rocket launch if it gets delayed a few days, which could easily happen. But I'm concerned that the Giga Austin thing is going to be like right before, during, or right after our other trip, where I wouldn't be able to do that turnaround to go. Originally, I had the idea of turning this Florida trip into a Joan and I drive south. We go all the way, like we leave a week early, and we go all the way down to Starbase and check that out. And then drive back across, hit Austin, see the Gigafactory, which again could tie right in with that, and then go to Florida and meet my wife for our vacation there. And I had to stop myself. I had to stomp on my instincts of like, that would be an epic trip, because it would. But I remembered like when we did the Frunkful of Diapers trip, and we did that run to Texas, Florida, and back, I was so exhausted being the only driver. And I was like, and then when we did the trip this summer, on my, kind of recap video, I had said that, I shouldn't do trips like this where I try to cram too much into it and try to hit every national park along the way and, do every little thing. So I kind of killed the idea of trying to hit Texas. And like the Well Done Foundation is now plugging wells in Louisiana. So I'm like, that's great. We could hit that on the way through. And it's too much for one trip. So if I can make the run to the Giga Texas opening, it will be a solo shot. I run down there, with whatever group or whatever convoy we come up with from Minnesota, North Dakota, wherever. And we do that, and then I come right home. But if it's too close to that vacation, I might not be able to make it work. So I'm hoping it's not in February, but we'll see. But definitely that would be an epic thing to cover. Even if you couldn't get in the actual event, just to be down there at the time, drive by, maybe throw the drone up and just kind of see the event. Kind of be part of the atmosphere of a billion Tesla owners gathering in Austin would be pretty epic. And I'm already cramming stuff into that trip to Florida. I'm going to try to see Jim the Iowa Tesla guy, Brandon and Kaylee in Charlotte, if our schedules can work out. Maybe seeing EV Dave if our schedules can work out. Again in North Dakota or North Carolina on our way through back home. So I'm trying to do that stuff. Also want to hit a few parks and things along the way. So I might already be cramming too much into that road trip for one driver. And then after I did the planning video that aired on Sunday, I watched, because I was thinking about, okay, am I going to change how I'm thinking about the drive home? And then I watched the end of the Frunkful of Diapers video where I basically drove from Florida to Minnesota with about 3 or 4 hours in the back seat of the car, or the back, laying in the back of the car. And that was to get home in front of a storm. But as I'm watching the videos, I'm remembering, oh, you were so exhausted right here. And like, you felt so horrible at this stop. And I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't do that. I definitely shouldn't push it too hard. It was one thing this summer when we were, traveling with my brother, where it was, somebody could entertain Joan if we needed to. And the other one, we could swap driving if we got tired. But a solo trip like that is too much to overdo. So trying to be smarter and more responsible as I get older. I know Teslas are safe, but I don't want to have to rely on that. Tony says, hi everyone. Hi. I think I said hi already, but hi again. Busting some EV myths out there. Talked to a newbie last night. He thought EVs were more prone to blowing up, for example. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good, like, top 5 EV myths or something like that, and kind of try to find a fun way to do that. Would be good. Yeah, the blowing up is a touchy subject with some people, so try to find a way to do that. But I was just thinking maybe I could light a bag of gasoline on fire and see. This also burns. That reminds me of a story from my childhood, which I'm not going to bother to share, but I had brothers. We were stupid with fire and dangerous and shouldn't have been. But we never burned the house down, so there's that. Yes, but not in beta. Okay. Next week with a Zoom meeting will come up on YouTube. So yeah, the Zoom meeting will have to, I think I have to record that in advance and then publish it as a YouTube video afterward. So we'll do it at the same time on Zoom. I'll send an invite out to anybody who reaches out on Facebook, if you have my info there, or on Twitter at Brian_Reby, and I'll get you the link to the Zoom meeting next Wednesday. Sound canceling is not in beta for refresh. Okay. Loved your well done videos. Thank you very much. Yeah, they're a little weird to have on this channel about EVs, but I figure if people are concerned about EVs or thinking about EVs, they're probably thinking about that other stuff. And it's just such a cool thing that they're doing that I think it's worthwhile. That's another series of videos that doesn't get a lot of, like, when I published it, like, crickets, and then slowly over time they're doing all right because more and more people are finding out about the Well Done Foundation and sharing that kind of stuff. So it was good stuff to have done. I'm glad I did it and happy with how it all turned out. But yeah. I thought the Gigas Texas was for locals only for the event. What they did in Germany was mostly, like, if you were a local, you could get a ticket. But then they also made tickets available to other people. But not everybody got in or got the full tour, or, there were restrictions. Some people, I think, like, extra tickets were released, and, like, somebody drove down from, like, like Norway or something, and they're like, I can't remember if they did get a ticket at the last minute or if they just had to, like, stand outside, but they were like, well, it's cool to be here anyway. Or if maybe that's what he thought, but then did end up getting tickets. So it could be a situation like that. It'll be cool. I don't know if they do. Well, Texas, it doesn't get as cold, obviously. Elon keeps talking about this ecological paradise that they're going to have by the river. And clearly work hasn't even begun on that, kind of park or paths or whatever that is going to be there. I almost think it would be cooler to, like, everybody wants to see the thing and, see it in action. But it would almost be cooler to postpone until all that's done. And then people could see, like, oh, this is like a factory in a park, or, that would be kind of cool. Or if like I said, if I can't go to the opening event, go down at the end of summer or something when maybe some more of that stuff is done, and there are public areas for people. There might be some merit to that. Locals over the event. Hey, I just remembered Roland saying, did Elon... You know what? Elon didn't drop by the live stream for a question, so I guess there's still time. Was that going to be this week or last week? I can't remember, but you never know. He could turn up. He's done other interviews lately. This might be his next one. I've got some questions for him. I thought the Giga Texas was okay. What if they start checking driver's licenses to see if you're local in Texas? Well, I think you get tickets. So I think if you're a local, you get first dibs. Like, I think you'd still have to sign up and get a ticket. But if you're, local to, if you enter your address, you're pretty much going to get a ticket if you, I don't know. They must have some way of verifying that because they did that in Berlin. Ran into a guy at the VA Tuesday that has a Bolt EV. Got his new battery put in last week and more kilowatts. into my new battery. He got more kilowatts than your battery has, or he got more kilowatts than his original battery has? Because I know the new packs they're putting in are bigger, so people are getting more range and they're getting more range and a new battery warranty. So actually, I wonder. That makes me wonder if like next year would buying a used Bolt be a great deal because you've got a brand new like battery. Like if somebody wants to get out of it after they've already had the repair done, that might be something worth looking into. There might be some great deals on really fresh battery bolts with good warranties. So if people are looking for bolts, I don't know. But I think that's really all I had prepared for this week, unless you guys want to talk about something else. I've got just been doing like Christmas prep, and I know like Elon did the interview with the Babylon Bee, and I know that's up. From what I've heard, there isn't a ton of new information if you've been following this stuff. The Ionic 5 reviews are out. Sounds like Kyle Connor absolutely loved it, and I think Transport Evolved has a review of it as well. I haven't seen that one. Actually, I haven't seen either of them, but I saw Kyle talking about it on the Inside EVs podcast last week and seemed very impressed with it. And I think the price is going to be pretty good. I don't have details on it, unfortunately. But Transport Evolved seems to have loved it too, so that's great. Again, more competition, the right car for each person is great. I've been driving 10.6.1. Is it? Yeah, 10.6.1 FSD, and for the most part, it's been getting better for me. It seems to be doing better than when I got it, and it was doing better than 5 already. Did a weird thing in a parking lot today, but it was also a parking lot, and it did stop before it hit something. So, we'll kind of have to see what the advancement of that is. But Dan Berkeland's been knocking out his FSD drives in the snow, in the all sorts, in the mixed conditions. He does a consistent loop around the cities and then some other trips to places. But he's given it a good test out if you want to see it running in the cities and you're not using it. Yeah, like the VW before emission scandal. Yeah. Well, good night, Jason. Thanks for joining. I was just going to say about the FSD drives that for the most part it's been doing better for me. Still some weird quirks. We'll see how it progresses. We'll see how this jump to 10.8 goes. Hopefully in the next couple days. We've been talking about doing a Joan reaction video to the holiday update. I don't know if that'll make it on the main channel, or maybe I'll do a short of it or something. But the new holiday update is going to have, I think, the 3 and Y both will get, the song and dance with the flashing lights. Really, the 3s and Ys can only do the lights, but still, that's what Joan loves: music and lights. So we might do a fun reaction video with her. That might just see social media and not on YouTube. It's going to be interesting. So hopefully we get that tomorrow night, it sounds like. I'm just sorry, I'm kind of zoning out here. I'm just looking through my notes and seeing if I'm missing anything else. But yeah, anyway, like we've said before, maybe that comes tomorrow night, maybe it comes in 2 weeks. So we'll see. John is asking, with no radar, I wonder how they know how far you are from another vehicle. I think they're measuring by the change in pixel. The changes in pixel luminosity or the luminance in pixels over time, I think is how they do it. The thing that happened to me in the parking lot was pretty close at low speed, so that could have been ultrasonics stopping it. Just as I was going in, another truck was coming out, and it wanted to make a left instead of continuing straight, and so it started turning, but the truck was stopping for the stop sign behind me. And so my car just kind of started taking a left in, like, toward the bed of the truck, and then stopped. And it was fine. But it was, part of it was map planning, and some of it was, it could have been the vision system stopping it, or it could have been the ultrasonics. I'm not sure, because those are still working. But anyway, I think we'll call it here for tonight. And like I said, if anybody wants to reach out on social media, Facebook, if we're in the groups on Facebook, you know how to get a hold of me. If we're on Twitter, Brian_Reby. If you want to be a part of next week's show, it won't be live on YouTube, but it will be published to YouTube. We'll do it on Zoom, live together, and then it'll be published later. So that's all I've got for tonight. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Be safe driving out there. And again, I really appreciate everyone's support and enthusiasm and great ideas. As we get closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers, it's just a huge milestone that felt like it was a million miles away last year, and even at the beginning of this year, where we were at somewhere in the 400s, I think, at the beginning of the year. So I really appreciate it. Really appreciate everyone's time and support, time watching the videos, and support here on the live stream, and just in general at meetups and stuff. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. And now for the awkward part, where I have to look over and choose the other scene to say goodbye. Everybody loves the awkward part, right? Thanks again. Merry Christmas. See you next week on Zoom.